The stars looked peaceful that night. From the small human listening post floating near a quiet gas giant, everything seemed normal. The crew was small, just 5 people running daily scans, bored and tired. It had been years since anything interesting showed up. No threats. No strange signals, nothing. Until now. A red light blinked on the console. One of the crew members leaned forward, frowning. "Unknown signal," he said. "It's not from us. Not from any known system." The others gathered around. The signal grew louder. It was repeating. Not in a language they understood, but it had rhythm, emotion. It sounded like laughter, but it was wrong. Twisted. Cruel. Then came the video feed. Everyone on the station froze. The screen showed fire. A human colony, burning. Buildings crumbled. Children screamed. Alien soldiers marched through the streets laughing as they destroyed everything. The camera turned toward the sky. Above, alien warships hovered like shadows, blocking out the sun. And then the voice came. A deep alien voice filled the station. "Earth is weak. Your people cry. Your colonies fall. This is your end." The feed ended with one final sound. Alien laughter, echoing cold and loud, until the signal cut. For a long moment, no one spoke. Then the captain of the listening post stood up and sent the full recording to Earth Command. His hands shook as he pressed the button, but his voice stayed calm. "They're mocking us," he said. "They want a reaction." He looked out the window into the stars. "They're going to get one." The message spread across Earth within hours. Governments argued. News channels screamed. Panic started to rise. But not in the military. In a dark room deep below the surface, a council of generals and admirals watched the footage again and again. None of them spoke until the youngest one whispered, "Do we have permission?" The oldest one stood up. His eyes were tired but burning with something ancient. "We never needed permission," he said. The screen changed to show hidden locations all across Earth, buried deep underground, forgotten by most, quiet for centuries, until now. Doors opened, lights turned on, engines hummed, and Earth's most dangerous secret came to life. They weren't new ships. They were old, very old, but their design was beyond anything the galaxy had ever seen. Black metal, razor shapes, engines that bent light. These were not tools of defense. They were weapons of punishment. In the shadows of space, far from Earth, the alien leaders celebrated. Their scouts reported destroyed colonies. Human outposts lost, no major fleet response. They believed Earth was weak, broken, too afraid to fight back. They had no idea. Then one of their communication officers ran into the command room, shaking. "New signal," he said. "From where?" the general asked. The officer swallowed. "From Earth." Everyone leaned in. The signal wasn't long, just one short message. 4 words. "We are coming now." Then silence. Total. Terrifying silence. No ships were seen. No answers returned. Just darkness. 2 days later, the aliens lost contact with one of their fleets. A scout group of 17 ships, gone without warning. The day after that, another outpost. Went dark, and then something worse. They found a wreck, an alien cruiser floating in space, cut clean in half. No signs of fire, no signs of weapons they recognized, just one message carved into the hull, burned in deep. This was for the children. Panic spread. The aliens began to realize something. Humans hadn't forgotten how to fight. They had been preparing. And now, they were awake. Back on Earth, the war fleet rose from its silent chambers. Crewless ships moved like ghosts, controlled by minds that weren't quite human anymore. Programs mixed with rage, machines mixed with memory. Each ship named after a fallen colony, each one ready to return the pain. A voice echoed across Earth's central command as the fleet launched. It was cold, calm, final. "We are not coming to talk. The stars lit up with hundreds of ships entering faster than light travel. We are coming to end this. The alien scout ship floated quietly above the ruined moon colony. Smoke still rose from the craters below. No life signs, no movement, just ruins. Inside the alien ship, the crew was calm, proud, confident. Another human outpost, destroyed, the pilot said with a smirk. Scan for survivors, the commander ordered lazily. The scan returned nothing. Not a heartbeat, not even heat. The place looked dead, but it wasn't. As the ship began to turn back toward its fleet, the lights inside flickered. Then the alarms started screaming. "System failure," the engineer shouted. "We're losing power." The ship shook violently. Something slammed into the hull hard, and then silence. Later, a second alien ship arrived to investigate. They found wreckage floating in space, shattered metal, a torn hull. No escape pods, no signals. But one thing was different. The wreck had marks, deep claw-like cuts, unnatural for any known weapon. Inside, scorched symbols were burned into the walls, symbols in Earth's forgotten war language. A language that had not been seen in 1,000 years. One of the alien officers reached into the wreck and pulled out a piece of black armor, human-made, but twisted, upgraded, fused with something cold and advanced. "It's not possible," he whispered. "They weren't supposed to be this strong." His voice cracked. They weren't supposed to be monsters. In orbit above another moon, the alien fleet began calling for reinforcements. They believed they were under attack by a secret group, maybe human rebels, maybe a rogue force. They were wrong. The real war had just started, and the humans were no longer fighting to win. They were fighting to erase. Elsewhere, hidden in the rocks of the same destroyed moon, something began to move. A black shape, half buried in dust, stood up. Its armor was scorched, cracked, but its eyes glowed red. A human, alone, breathing slow. He looked up at the stars. Above him, a massive alien battlecruiser floated in orbit, huge, armed, full of soldiers. The human whispered, "Time to answer." He activated something on his wrist and the sky caught fire. The alien battlecruiser's sensors exploded with warnings. Unknown contact detected. Where? Everywhere. One by one, small black drones appeared, silent and fast. They zipped through the ship's defenses like knives through paper. No sounds, no warnings, just destruction. Explosions ripped through the ship's engines. The hull cracked. Fires spread. In the control room, the alien commander tried to shout orders. Too late. The screen went dark. Outside, the cruiser fell, burning through the moon's thin dust cloud before slamming into the ground. It didn't just crash. It vanished, into ash. From the top of a nearby hill, the lone human stood watching. His armor covered in dust, his breathing calm. He whispered one word, "Justice," then disappeared into the shadows. Back in the alien capital, the High Council met in panic. They had crushed human colonies. They had burned planets. But now, their fleets were disappearing one after another. "They are using ancient weapons," one general said. "Tech we can't identify." "They're using fear," another growled. "Their soldiers don't speak. They don't leave survivors. They strike, and then they vanish." "They're not soldiers," the commander said coldly. "They're ghosts." A secret report reached the alien council that night. A scout ship had survived long enough to send back a message. It wasn't a long one, just a single line, with no image, but it was enough to shake every leader in the room. The moon was not empty. The humans were waiting. A quiet stillness covered deep space until something cracked the silence. Not a sound, not a light, just a ripple. In a forgotten part of the galaxy, the stars bent for a moment. Space twisted like it was holding its breath. Then they appeared. Black, warships, hundreds of them, silent, slow, cold. They didn't announce themselves, they didn't send warnings, they just arrived. Every ship was shaped like a shadow, sharp angles, no colors, no markings. Just thick armor and glowing red lines that pulsed like heartbeats. They were not new. They were ancient and angry. In the alien command center, officers watched the scans in disbelief. These ships, they're not in any record. They came from dark space, from the old zones. One general, older than the rest, stood frozen. His hands trembled. "I know these ships," he whispered. "I saw them once, long ago, during the first human uprising." He looked pale. "They disappeared. We thought they were destroyed." Another officer leaned in. "Then why are they back now?" The old general didn't blink. "Because we hurt something they loved." Inside one of the black warships, the crew moved like machines. They didn't speak. They didn't hesitate. They had been trained in silence, in darkness, in pain. Their orders were simple. No warnings, no mercy, no survivors. At the front of the lead ship stood the fleet commander, his face hidden, his armor marked with hundreds of old battle scars. A message came in from Earth's last transmission base. He listened, then said one word: "Execute." The ship's engines ignited and the stars began to burn. In a nearby alien colony, civilians looked up and screamed, not because they were being attacked, because they felt something before they saw anything. The sky above them began to glow dark red. One by one, black shapes entered the atmosphere. No explosions, no fire, just enormous shadows passing overhead, blocking out the sun. One alien mother clutched her child as she whispered, "Those aren't ships, they're demons." Then the first blast hit. But it wasn't like before. This time, it didn't explode. Outward, it pulled everything in, screaming buildings, metal, stone, and sound itself into a small black hole. Then, nothing. Silence. The human fleet didn't just destroy, it erased. The alien council finally understood. This wasn't a counterattack. It was a purge. The old general stood again. His voice shook. These ships weren't built for defense. They weren't even built for war. Then what were they built for? Someone asked. He answered with hollow eyes. They were built for revenge. Across the galaxy, panic spread. Alien leaders began hiding. Fleets broke formation and ran. But it was already too late. The human return fleet had been waiting, watching, preparing. Now they were back, and they were not here to talk. A single message was picked up by hundreds of alien ships before being cut off completely. For every colony burned, a system will fall. The alien planet of Verta 6 was once called a jewel of the Empire. Blue skies, silver towers, green oceans. Billions lived there, soldiers, workers, families. They felt safe. They had no idea what was coming. Then, without warning, the sky changed color. A deep red hue spread across the clouds, not from sunset, not from storm, from incoming fire. No sirens. No shields, just heat. Then, impact. The first human drop pods didn't land. They punched through buildings like meteors. Thousands of them raining down across cities and military bases. Alien commanders screamed orders. Weapons powered up. Drones launched. It didn't matter. The pods opened. What came out wasn't just human, it was something worse. The first wave moved fast, black armor, glowing red visors, no faces. They didn't shout. They didn't signal. They just moved, like ghosts with purpose. Alien soldiers opened fire, but their rounds hit empty air. The humans were already gone, already behind them, already striking. Every movement was precise. Every shot silent. Every kill final. One alien sniper hidden in a tower took aim. He blinked, and in the next second a human soldier was standing beside him, motionless. The sniper didn't even have time to scream. In the main capital, the alien president stood watching the chaos unfold. How did they get inside the shields? He shouted. No answer. How are they jamming our air support? No answer. He turned to his guards, but they were already gone. The lights flickered. A single screen lit up. A message played. A human voice. Calm, cold, quiet. We did not come to conquer. We came to remind you. This is only the beginning. In the refugee zones, alien civilians tried to escape. Ships launched from the ground, dozens of transports lifting off into the sky. They didn't make it far. Above the atmosphere, silent human ships uncloaked. They didn't fire lasers or missiles. They used precision beams, so clean, so sharp. The transports fell apart mid-air, sliced into pieces like paper in the wind. No explosions, just vapor. Meanwhile, deep in a bunker, one alien commander made a final recording. He spoke fast. Panicked. They're not soldiers. They're punishment, he said. I saw one walk through fire. I saw one lift a tank. He stopped. In the dark corner of the room, something moved. His eyes widened. He dropped the recorder. Then the screen cut to static. Across the planet, the same scene repeated. Bases fell. Leaders disappeared. Entire cities turned to ash. Human boots walked over alien stone. Not with pride. Not with joy. With silence. They weren't here for victory. They were here for balance. 3 hours after the invasion began, the human fleet left orbit. They didn't stay to rule. They didn't send messages. They left behind ruins and whispers. And one carved symbol, burned into the ruins of the Capitol building, for Earth. The galaxy watched in horror. The message was clear. Humans hadn't returned for diplomacy. They had returned to finish what was started, and this was only the 4th step. The alien empire was shaken. Verta 6 was gone. Not captured. Not held. Wiped. Burned. From orbit, millions vanished, no survivors, no trace, and the worst part? The humans never stayed to explain. They came. They struck. They vanished. But the Empire was not ready to surrender. No. They assembled the largest fleet in their history. 10,000 warships, battlecruisers, planet crackers, elite squadrons from across the stars. The mission: find the humans. Crush them. End this. The commander of the fleet stood before his officers and shouted, "This is our sky, let it burn with their ashes." Cheers filled the command deck, but somewhere deep inside, many of them felt it. Fear. Far away, in the black of deep space, the human warfleet waited. They didn't hide. They didn't run. They simply watched and calculated. Inside the lead ship, a command AI scanned the alien formation. It counted ships, scanned weapons, predicted their tactics. Then, it gave its quiet answer: begin the burn. The alien fleet jumped into the system. The sky around them shimmered with blue energy. They were ready for war. But no enemy appeared, just empty space. Then, something blinked behind them. A single human ship, black and silent, decloaked for half a second, just long enough for the aliens to see it and panic. It's behind us. Target lock. No, lost it. Where is it? They spun their ships. Weapons charged. Scanners screamed. Then the first ship exploded. Not from outside, from the inside. One by one, ships burst into fire, engines overheating, systems shutting down, ammo storage detonating. The human fleet hadn't fired missiles. They had hacked the enemy before they even arrived. The war was over before it began. One alien captain managed to escape. His ship floated, burning, through a wreck field of twisted metal and glowing ashes. The stars above him were red, not from sunset, from ships on fire. His message to the Empire was short. It played across every military channel: do not chase them. They are already inside our systems. We never had a chance. Then the signal ended. His ship drifted into silence. The human fleet left nothing behind. No broadcasts, no demands. Only space filled with quiet fire and floating wreckage. And above one broken world in orbit, something new appeared. A massive satellite. Its signal was simple. No words. Just a loop of images. Every human colony that had been attacked, every child, every family, every burning home. Then one final frame, a human eye, watching. The alien emperor watched in silence. His council begged for retaliation. Send more troops. Build. Stronger weapons. But the emperor only stared at the stars. They didn't come to fight, he said. They came to teach us fear. And as the night passed, the stars above the palace turned darker. Not because of clouds, but because a new, human fleet had just decloaked. No sound, no warning, just burning skies. He was once a respected alien commander. Now he sat in silence, wrapped in a gray robe. His skin burned, his voice barely a whisper. He was the only survivor from the largest battle in the Empire's history. 10,000 ships entered. He was the only one who came back. Not a hero, a witness. The council placed him before a galaxy-wide broadcast. Billions watched. Everyone wanted answers. What did he see? What were the humans? He looked up, eyes hollow, and began to speak. It started like any battle, he said slowly. We came in with power, with pride, with numbers. We thought they were afraid. He paused. No, they were patient. He told them of the human fleet, how it didn't move, didn't fire, didn't run, it just watched, like a predator in tall grass. Then, the attacks began. Not from space, but from inside. Their screens turned black. Their weapons refused to fire. Shields vanished, orders were rerouted. Engines exploded without warning. They were already in our systems before we arrived, he said. It was never a fight. He trembled. They knew everything. Our names, our families, our history. They didn't want control. They wanted us to feel powerless. He spoke of the ships, black, silent, unmarked, how they moved like shadows, how their weapons made no sound, how they destroyed without rage. No screams, no taunts, just perfect, cold destruction. They didn't chase glory, he said. They moved like executioners. He described the worst moment, when one human ship slowly passed through the alien formation, untouched, unchallenged. Every alien ship froze. Their scanners failed. Their AI shut down. He watched the ship drift silently, like a god among insects. And then, as it passed, it sent one message to every ship. We are what you made us. The audience listening to the survivor fell silent. Even the council couldn't speak. But the survivor wasn't done. He leaned forward. There was a moment, he said, where I saw inside one of their ships. His voice cracked. It wasn't full of soldiers. It was full of names, pictures of children, elders, lost colonies, a museum of the dead. They built their warships from grief. He looked at the stars through the window of the chamber. They don't want our territory. They don't want our planets. They want us to remember what we did. He whispered the final words, and they won't stop until the stars burn with our guilt. The feed ended. No one cheered. No one spoke. Some called him broken. Some called him mad. But others, those who had seen the burning skies, believed every word. They turned off their lights that night, closed their ships, shut down transmissions, and they waited because they all knew if the humans came again, it wouldn't be to speak. It would be to finish the story. It began with silence. Across the galaxy, communication signals dropped, not jammed, just gone. No sound, no warning, just quiet. Then came the color, not in space, not on sensors, but in the sky. Over hundreds of alien worlds, the stars turned red. Not natural, not scientific. A message, a presence. The humans had returned, and this time, they brought everything. On the Empire's throne world, alarms screamed, civilians ran, ships launched, troops filled the skies, but no enemy appeared, just shadows. Then the red sky began to move. Not clouds, not fire. Ships, thousands of them, forming a wall that blocked the stars. No broadcasts, No names, only one signal reached the surface. We are not invaders. We are memory. High above, in Earth's lead warship, a command AI watched the alien fleets prepare to fight. It did not react. It simply opened a channel and played one file. The file contained every cry, scream, and message sent by the human colonies as they were being destroyed, footage the galaxy had never seen, and now everyone watched. The file ended with the image of a little human child, holding a toy, looking up as the sky turned black above her burning home. The screen then went dark, and the war began, but it was no war. It was a surgical erasure. Human warships didn't fire in chaos. They moved like code. Every strike hit only military targets, but it wasn't the destruction that shook the galaxy. It was how fast it ended. In 11 minutes, 3 major systems were wiped clean of military power. 11 minutes, and then the human ships vanished again, just like that. Gone. What remained? Ruins, silence, and one glowing message on every alien capital: mercy has ended. Back on Earth, no celebration followed, no broadcasts, no flags. Just silence. Earth returned to the dark, its fleets parked in the black of space, waiting, not out of fear, out of discipline, out of memory. Because the war was never about territory. It was about the cost of forgetting. And the galaxy did not forget. Not anymore. On every world where the humans had struck, the stars remained red. For months, and even after the color faded, no one dared look at the sky the same way again. Because they knew, the next time the sky turns red, it will not be for war, it will be for extinction.